Want to follow me on Instagram? That's my Instagram. Yeah, I'm shamelessly advertising. And then these are just like some fun facts and some things about me, if you noticed. um, so yeah, my major was ecology and Japanese. So I double majored, so it took me 5 years to finish both programs. And then this is, I'm just like bringing you back like a flashback. So this was during banquet. This was during nationals. This was during revealing, my revealing. This was a crossing ceremony. That's my line, which I believe died back in like 2016 or 15. Yeah, I know. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yes.
I don't know. Don't they have like the emojis? I don't know. That's during like a, I think that was during like our crossing ceremony. I don't remember. That's during Project Allegre, if anyone like remembers what that is. It was like we went, yeah, Steve remembers what. When I go back. And then like these are just like a few of like the organizations and the things I did. So after I had many jobs, but these were like, because most of them I hated, but these were like the main ones that I liked, that I like stayed on for like at least like 6 months to like a year. So I started at Ross, and then I went to Macy's, and then I went to Gotchi. I think I worked there for like 2 years. And then I went back to school at Orange Coast College, and I enrolled in their OCC, like fashion merchant. I enrolled in the fashion merchandising and design program back in 2019, and I'm still attending it. So those of you who are in school right now, I know what you're going through, having to take a Zoom class. And then like I've interned, like during my time there, I've interned at Igloo, which is kind of like an accessories brand. So like backpacks, lunch boxes. And then Billabong is like a swimwear brand. So like surfing, think of surfing. And then like during my free time, I like to volunteer to sing at my church. I like using my talents like for service to the community. If anyone remembers what that word means. Service to the community. Wait, why do I keep on going back? Okay, so I went to Korea at least 2 times. I don't listen to K-pop or watch Korean dramas anymore. That was like a phase. But I want to go to Japan, but we can't anymore because of COVID. Thank you, COVID. So during my time, like a little bit like after graduation, like I started like singing again. That's why like I said, I volunteered at my church, but we can't do that anymore because of COVID. So thank you, COVID. Okay, I don't know why it keeps on going back every time. So these are just like a few of the things that I like. I like art, I like fashion. Like I said, I'm enrolled in the fashion design and merchandising program um, at Orange Coast College. And so like I like drawing, I really like hand sketching, but I've gotten into like digital illustration. That over there is like stippling. So what you do is you take like a pen, like this small tipped pen right over here, and then you just like dot it over vellum paper over like your image. And it helps if you have a light box, if anyone like knows what that is. And then I tried like embroidery, like for like 1 or 2 months, but it was hard. So I gave up on that. I like digital illustration and hand sketching. I still sing sometimes. Okay, I don't know. Yeah, like I said, I don't know why it keeps on like going that way. Okay, and then these are just like of the few things that like feel like the struggles and the things like I had to overcome. So like I'm trying to get into my career right now. So I'm moving from retail to like fashion, like pure fashion, with like a focus on merchandising and designing. So I've had to stay active and healthy. These two are probably like the hardest things like y'all like had to go through. And this, maintaining like your professional, social life and responsibilities. And what I mean responsibilities is making sure you don't get arrested, paying the bills on time, making sure your child, I don't have a child, but making sure your child isn't like locked in the car. Sorry, I like using dry humor a lot. So these are the few things I learned. So I like this one because I didn't come up with it. The rest I just like came up on my own, like maybe 1 or 2 hours ago. But every day is an interview, and this is something I've learned in life. So it can be anyone that you're talking to. So go in anywhere like and talk to someone and treat it as if it was an interview. So like right now, So like I said, networking, like what I've learned in adult life is networking is important and it can lead to opportunities. Yeah. Oh, okay. So this is also another one that I learned. People appreciate common courtesy and thank yous. So yeah, I'll let you like read over that for like the next 60 seconds. And then do you have any questions? I liked this. This was funny.
I think we'll share questions after everyone else introduces themselves.
Okay. All right.
All right. Thank you for sharing.
So how do I unshare it? Stop sharing.
Next, could we have Andreas have his introductions?
Hello, everyone. So, Min, it's good to see you again. I see a founding member. My name is Andreas. I'm from Alpha class. So yes, the very, very, very first pledge class. Graduated in 2014 with aquatic biology degree, so BS. Currently, right now, I work for a pharmaceutical company in Fremont, California. It's a German company called Boehringer Ingelheim. So those of you that are bio majors and that are interested, I look forward to whatever questions you guys might have. Besides that, currently I live in Sacramento and I am actually engaged. I was actually supposed to be married this year, but COVID kind of changed everything. So hopefully next year. That's it for me.
Thank you. And could we have Brian Chang share his story and introductions?
Yeah. So I'm Brian. I was in Theta class a little bit later than the other two. Quick side note, Andreas was actually one of my alumni interviews. I know you probably don't remember that, but I remember that. It was like it was very random because I had never met you before. But yeah, so I was in Theta class. I graduated in 2017. Yeah. What else did you want for the introduction?
Where are you now and what happened after college?
Oh, okay. So after college, I studied bio. I was a microbiome major, so I moved home to San Francisco because there's a lot of bio jobs in the Bay, and I'm here, so it's like free rent is, you don't really have to pay. So that's nice. I started working. I worked at a couple jobs. I worked in a pharmaceutical company as well called BioMarin in their manufacturing site, which is pretty crazy. Like first job out of college, I worked like Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 12-hour shifts from like 3 p.m. to 4 a.m., which is pretty cool at the time because I had like 4 days off. But then once the rest of my friends started working, it was like I kind of sat around and I had nothing to do. So I would just like do nothing for 4 days straight until Friday night came. But after that, I bounced around from like one to another biotech company. And now I work in a biotech company called Mammoth Biosciences. Still doing lab stuff, but I'm more focused on like lab automation now. So it's more of transitioning like bench scale lab processes to using robots to do things, which is pretty nice. It's a lot of work, but once the things I do, once they work, I get to just sit there while robots do my job for me, which is like the best part of it because I don't actually have to do anything after that. But yeah, so that's kind of what I've been up to since graduating.
Thank you. And then could we have Sarah? Sarah, her story introductions.
Hi, I don't have a fancy PowerPoint, but my name is Cheryl. I pledged spring of 2016 IOTA class. I graduated 2019 and I majored in sociology and I did my minors in education. I'm currently a second year at my master's program at Columbia and I'm studying to be a speech therapist. And hopefully I'll graduate by April of next year.
Thank you. Could we have Bryant say her story introductions?
Hello, everyone. You're all probably familiar with me because I just graduated last spring, but I was in IOTA class. I majored in earth science, and now I am at a PhD program at UC Irvine doing earth system science, specifically geochemistry and paleoclimate. And yeah.
Thank you. And then could we have Charlie Trin say her story introductions?
Yeah, I want to hear what Brian's been doing past couple months in quarantine after graduation. You forgot that part out.
What I've been doing during quarantine?
We can ask that after everyone introduces themselves.
Oh, okay, for sure. Hi guys, my name is Charlie Trin. I just graduated recently with Brian's class of 2020. Xi class with Surya. Shout out to my brother right there. Also shout out to my grand Jay Kim, who's in the audience today. So I graduated from global studies. I told myself the past couple years, like every single time I think about what I'm gonna do post grad, I get kind of depressed, get really like anxious. And I was right. After college, I've been like job searching, but during this pandemic, it's been pretty stressful. I get pretty like high level anxiety. So I've been just chilling back, just working on myself mentally and physically. I've been working out again. I'm glad gyms open up, but they're closing again next week. So I'm pretty upset about that. I got into PC building and it's amazing. And I think like I was really oblivious to computers, but now I think like I'm a computer nerd. I think it's super interesting. And also since like, job search has been pretty hard, I've been just trading stocks. I was pretty consistent past first couple months after I graduated, but then I got kind of bored of waking up 5 a.m. doing my research, trading from 6:30 a.m. to like, I don't know, noon, then go back to sleep. So I've been just chilling, watching anime, just working on myself mentally because I think after college graduation, you should like work on yourself mentally because you spent 4 years just like really just torturing yourself. And like after everything in 2020, I think like I should work on myself more and people should, just take a step back and just chill.
Thank you. And would Stephen like to introduce himself?
Sure. My name is Stephen Tragars. I went in Delta class. I started school 2013, graduated in 2017. I took a year off, kind of figured out what I wanted to do. I substitute taught during that time. I also taught in China briefly for a little bit, to see if I want to do international teaching. Decided China was a little bit too interesting for me, and came back to the States and went back to UCSB to get my master's in education, and then student taught here, and then they thought I was a good teacher, so they hired me, and so kept me around, and so now this is my second year being paid as a teacher I teach high school history. I teach all different kinds of history here. I teach law and society, world history, U.S. and government, and econ. And some hobbies, I guess, real quick, because people talk about that. I have a little side gig as a carpenter. So I do carpentry projects for most of Isla Vista, building certain types of tables for people and stuff like that. And that is a nice little side gig I got going. So there you go.
All right, thank you. And would Jake Kim like to introduce himself?
Oh, okay. Hi, my name is Jonathan. I graduated 2018. Graduated with sociology, psychology, double major, and applied psych minor. I transferred in, so that's a 2-year stint. I am Lambda class. I want to go into psychology as a counselor. Over the past couple months in quarantine overall, I started working at a education and evaluation lab over at a company called Capacity to Impact. It's based in Claremont Graduate University. So it's a lot of program design and evaluation, and basically using applied research to help programs understand where they're succeeding and where they're not, and overall improving programs that focus on improving education outcomes and addressing inequities, especially in first generation, lower income families and districts. And as a hobby, I do some photography. I mainly play tennis. I do not work out for my life, and I hate cardio. So tennis is the only way I stay fit. I also like cooking, so thankfully, got that going for me. Don't eat fast food all the time. Learn how to cook. Expensive ingredients is cheaper than dialysis. A couple of years down the road. Yeah, nice to meet y'all.
All right, thank you for summing up, everyone. I have some more general questions that I can ask everyone, but if anyone has specific questions to each of the alumni or their own general question, feel free to type it in the chat. It'd be much appreciated. I guess my next question would be like, what would you recommend to actives currently or younger members or people who might graduate this year? And we can start with Brian Chang.
I would say the best thing that I would recommend is definitely just cherish your time in college. And I think I was in SB for 4 years, and I joined APO in my 3rd year. So I really had like 2 years to meet a lot of people. And I don't know, it feels like for me, college felt like a really long time just because it was like moving away from home for the first time. And there's so many new experiences, and there's just like a constant flood of stuff you're doing. And like looking back, it's not that I didn't go to class, but I like don't really remember a lot of me going to class, right? A lot of the memories I have from college are just doing things with friends or going new places or memories that I don't remember. And so it's things like that. Like it ends faster than you think. And I think like people who are about to graduate this year, it's like right about now that you're really starting to realize like your time is coming up. So definitely cherish your time. And I think like, of course, your education and what you learn in class is really important to take away. And a lot of that times that leads to more school or careers and stuff, right? But a lot of times, the more I work now, I think the more I realize a lot of people change careers, and the things you do and like learn in college might not necessarily always be what you end up doing for the rest of your life. Even for me, like I learned a lot of lab stuff, right? But a lot of the stuff I do now, I didn't learn until I started working. But I would say definitely the best thing to take away from college is like the friends you meet. And I feel like that sounds like very like old person kind of thing, like, oh, when I was young I had so many friends, but like there's a lot of people even in this chat now that like I used to talk to a lot more, but just because, you know, I moved home, being in NorCal, and I have so many friends in SoCal that I really don't like, once you leave that like the convenience of seeing them and like talking to them all the time, it's so much harder to keep in touch. And I think that's something you really want to put a lot of effort into, just like keeping in touch with people, even if that's just like hitting them up every once in a while, just seeing how they are. And I think that was the one cool thing being in APO, that you were kind of forced to meet a lot of people. So yeah, I think that's some advice that I would have.
Thank you. Brian, do you have anything you strongly recommend to younger members?
Yeah, don't be afraid to meet people. I know, like, especially, I guess, like, I wasn't really a younger member. I was like kind of part of like the senior citizen group by then, by the time I joined, but I kind of stuck to like, oh, my own line or the people I was close with or people I had already known and like hung out with a lot. But there's so many people from like earlier classes that they're not just like outside of APO. Like these are still people that would be your friends, or like even after college, they might be, you know, professional connections or something, right? And don't be afraid to like go out and meet people inside the frat. Like a lot of the people in APO, I didn't really meet them until I started playing. Like we used to play basketball every Friday. So if you ever look at the milk and cookie, I mean, if you ever look at some of the Facebook pages, if you ever see something that said Mac at 4, that was for basketball. But a lot of people I didn't really meet until we started playing basketball together all the time. And I was like, wow, these are really cool people that I really enjoy spending time with. And it's not just inside fraternity events, right? It's like I would want to spend time with them outside. And even now I spend time with a lot of people, some people you haven't really spent time with before. Because everyone, at the end of the day, most people are just really cool. They're very open. Like, I don't think they would have joined a fraternity if they weren't open to meeting new people, right? So
The basketball part is pretty interesting because I think the past 2 years, volleyball has become our main APO gig. So which is really
Yeah.
interesting.
yeah, I know APO started playing a lot of IM volleyball. But that was like my senior year. I was about to leave, but we definitely used to play a lot of basketball on the Mac. So
Sarah, do you have anything you would recommend to younger members or current actives?
Yeah, just adding on to what Brian was saying, I agree with everything he said. And also just, I think, to step out of your comfort zone and put yourself out there. And I guess an APO, maybe that means to sign up for a new service event that you've never been to, or like run for a leadership position, or reach out to APO members or alumni to ask questions about careers that you might be interested in. And I think in terms of like helping to find my career path, someone who really helped me with the interview process and also the personal statements for grad school was Carol, and she's one of the career counselors at UCSB. So I think if you guys have any questions about like career path and maybe grad school, maybe book an appointment with her because she helped me a lot. She's very nice and she's very helpful. And yeah, reach out to any of the alumni, including me, if you guys have any questions about grad school or just speech therapy.
Connections are very important. Andreas, do you have anything you would strongly recommend to current members or younger members?
Yeah, so I mean, to a lot of you guys, I think the thing that I regretted not taking advantage of while at SB was the Career Center. The Career Center offers a lot of free resources that I never took advantage of, and I highly recommend because you pay for them out of your tuition. So definitely look into that, especially as you get towards your senior year. I think the workshop activities, but I noticed you guys also have changed in the sense of offering opportunities to, you know, improve your guys' resumes in APO, which is fantastic because, you know, we didn't have that back then. For bio major specifically, and I'm not meaning to be biased, it's just because that's the degree I got, was definitely reach out to your professors or take advantage of that. I think it was like some email thing that SB offered where, you know, any internships, take advantage of those because the more opportunities you get, the more connections you get is the better opportunity for you as soon as you graduate out of college is when you can find those kind of positions or jobs because it just looks better, right? I mean, I love APO too, and I think APO taught me the leadership, which was something very useful because back then I was for Steven, I was his pledge big brother for Delta class, and then for Epsilon class, I was the pledge parent. So yeah, so I mean, definitely take upon those opportunities, and feel free to always reach out to, you know, the alumni as well. You know, maybe within your lines even, or, you know, us as well, so that we can offer you, you know, any advice.
Thank you for sharing.
Can I tag on to that real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thanks. No, I agree. The leadership thing is extremely important. Just before, I mean, I don't have a science degree. I have a bachelor in arts, right? For a lot of humanities-based jobs, for an interview, they're going to ask you, what is a problem you faced in your life or an organization, and how did you solve it? And APO gives you tons of examples of not problems, but things that we have to solve, issues that we have to solve, either from, you know, just organizing events, problems inevitably arise, and you now have that expertise to pull onto, explain to the interviewer, hey, this is how I did this problem. Here's how I tackled this issue. Here's how the outcome satisfied all parties. And it can really make you a strong candidate for any job field, especially in humanities. So I think it's really important just to get involved in leadership. It doesn't have to be president, but anything involved in XCOM can really help you propel your career forward. And that's something that I took advantage of in APO. I think others are doing that, and that's great.
I can vouch for that being applicable to grad school interviews as well. In like 2 of my interviews for grad school admissions, they asked basically the same thing, and I've always talked about APO. So
I to add on to that, I applied for 2 associate students positions, which isn't as high level as like a real job or grad school. And even those asked me questions in which APO was very applicable to. So, and APO was my first leadership role in anything, and definitely helped me in my 3rd and now this year to like be more confident in myself. Charlie, would you have anything, since you're, would you have anything that you'd like recommend to younger members and actives?
To younger members, I'm sorry to whoever's a senior right now, because I wish I had an opportunity to like pursue, EAP, Education Abroad program, when I was in college. Because I think definitely studying abroad just gives you a different perspective of the different worlds and societies and culture you live in. As a global studies major, I've always been taught to look at things from a different like spectrum or like point of view landscape. So I really wish I did EAP, but like for me, it was difficult for me because I was a transfer student. I came to like UCSB my junior year, and like I pledged immediately, and so I've never really had that time. If I stayed another year, I would have definitely pursued EAP, and I wish like if everything's over and stuff, can like people pursue like studying abroad. I really wish that was an option for you guys right now. For like people right now, I strongly recommend people taking like leadership positions, and that doesn't just mean like XCOM. It means like being a big bro or just like any what's that term again? Chair positions. Because like I feel like in APO, people like wants like the big honcho positions, being an XCOM, but like being chair positions is equally important, and that experience is definitely gonna like pay dividends when you do like job interviews, because every job interview I go into, they always ask, so a situation that like a problem occur, how did you help and whatnot. And yeah, like I've always like gave APO as an example, or like my other experiences, and just stepping outside your comfort zone, like what Brian said, like if you came to like fraternity, you're pretty social, you're like open to like meeting your friends, maybe you should be open to like taking like a leadership position, and like help like develop new like leadership events, workshops, or like just service events for like your chapter and whatnot. And I just recommend people to just cherish the moments you have in college. I really miss it. I really wish I spent more time just like walking around the beach, whatnot, exploring like everywhere in SB, and just like take it slow. And especially when you graduate from college, I think like the biggest rush is people saying like, oh, I gotta pay off my loans and I gotta find a job immediately. But I realized in the past like month or two, maybe taking a step back and realizing you're only young once, like Drake said, YOLO, you already know the motto. Like just take life and just take a step back. Like I wanted to travel abroad so much after college. Like because of my global studies background, I wanted to become like a diplomat or something, work like international relations, but I couldn't. So like for the future people who are gonna like come out of college in the next year or two, when hopefully there's a vaccine, just take a year off, from like looking at jobs or like grad school, just explore different cultures.
Thank you for sharing. I am currently a 4th year, and one of my regrets is not doing study abroad. So I might personally take the year off and teach English in a different country, such as Taiwan or Japan, as my study abroad experience, and also experience to just help other people.
Oh yeah, I had the opportunity to like in applications like next week to like teach English in Japan. I'm thinking about it, but at the same time, I'm really afraid they're gonna send me to like the goon swamps. Like, like I hope that they give me a position there, like somewhere in the cities, not in the swamps.
Thank you for sharing, Charlie. I'll definitely hit you up to learn more if you actually choose to go that route. And also going off a question Charlie asked previously, what are some new hobbies you picked up during this strange year? Maybe starting with Brian Paul.
yeah, so I also got into PC building, but I also have been trying to get back into photography. I got a gym membership at a rock climbing gym around here, but I'm pretty sure they're probably going to close soon. And yeah, I've just and playing Valorant with Elisa and some other friends. So,
Hey, hit me up. I play Valorant.
oh, you do? What's your rank? No, just
Iron 3, Iron 3,
wait. What did you say?
Iron 3, Iron 3.
Oh, okay, for sure.
Yeah, trash.
I'd like to add something.
Go ahead.
I should have added in a previous question, but I wanted to add something because I think it is important. So there's a lot of advice, and I completely agree with go out, meet new connections, meet new people, try new things, try education abroad, and meet these programs. But I think especially with current people, or even people still now, a lot of what you should consider in that is, I think a good mentality to go into trying new things is why not, right? Because a lot of times I feel like we find ourselves paralyzed and not choosing a position because we go, what if I'm not a good fit for this, right? What if I don't do well in this? You don't apply because you're like, what if this doesn't work out for me, right? What if people laugh at me for doing this chair? What if people laugh at me for making 4 speeches during PledgeCon? What if, whatever, And a lot of that is, especially now that you're in college, this is your time to nurture yourself and grow. This is the time to try things. And a lot of times, the worst case scenario, you're going to get a no, right? It's like flyering. You're going to get rejected anyways. So what's the harm in going out and trying it, right? So when you're going out and trying these things, it's scary and you might not want to do it, right? But that's exactly why you should. Because if you don't explore it, how else are you going to know, right? Go out, meet new people, go out, try new activities. A lot of times the worst you're going to get back is a no. So and if someone gives you shit for it, language, if someone talks badly of you for it, well, then they're the real cowards for not trying in the first place, right? So go and get it. Now back to quarantine hobbies.
Thank you for sharing, J. Kim.
Can I add on to that real quick?
Go ahead.
So I had like quick personal story. So I was actually SAA Kappa term, I think. Whichever one was after Steven. But it was like a long story of how I ended up there, and I fully intended on like spending my entire 2 years kind of just flying under the radar, just doing like the bare minimums, not doing any like leadership positions really. But I think that was really something like that someone like else put me into that position, and it was like I don't regret doing that at all. So going back to like stepping out of your comfort zone, I think a lot of things, it's like, even if you're uncomfortable doing it in the first place, it's really what you make of it. Because if you go into it with the mentality like, oh, I'm gonna suck at this, or I'm not really gonna be good, or I'm not gonna put a lot of effort in, that's probably what you're gonna get out of it. And I think that applies to a lot of things, not just like leadership positions, but like jobs in the future too. So yeah, I mean, I think if you're trying something new, I would say just like make it into something you're comfortable doing. Yeah. So, and find like mentorship like that. I mean, I guess this is kind of why there's so many alumni here now. But if you find good people to kind of guide you along, you don't always have to do things yourself, right? Like I had Steven to kind of help me guide through what to do as SAA. So yeah.
Always ask for help. Minwoo, do you have any quarantine hobbies or any advice for younger members?
So other than like the stuff like I just said before in my PowerPoint, I picked up yoga. I think it's like really relaxing. I don't like doing like high intensity stuff. But as far as like, what was the second question?
Just any advice you have to give to younger members?
Okay, like one thing I learned is like, these are not my words, but like I said before, treat like every like meeting that you have with someone or hang out with someone, like treat it as an interview. Like I said, every day is an interview. Like the random like stranger like that you talk to, like it could be the customer that you're servicing. I remember when I was working at Macy's, I talked to this person, right? And then like we just like became friends. We were like complete strangers. He was a customer, and that's how I ended up like at the position at Agachi, because I talked to him, I engaged with him. So like just really like think about that, and really think about like how to learn how to network. And I'd say like communicate like efficiently. And I say like, just be aware of like how you conduct yourself, like in front of people, because like that can lead you to like opportunities like that you didn't think like you would get like before. So like I said, networking can lead to like other opportunities, and every day is an interview. I think those are like, and those were not my word. Every day is an interview were not my words. They were like a word from this professor of mine, kind of like my mentor. So I think that's like the one thing. And just know like what Jonathan said, what this is like just to reiterate like what Jonathan says. So for every like 10, maybe even 20 no's, you'll get a yes.
Thank you for everyone sharing. So the time is almost 5:45, and at the end, we were thinking of putting everyone, it's already planned out to put everyone into breakout rooms, and then you guys can all just hang out and chat for about 10 minutes, and then we'll come back here and have like a group screenshot, and that'll be all for today. Is everyone okay with that?